Hey, welcome. Today we're going to talk about conservation. And it's a story that starts out small, with just a single tree, but it quickly scales up to the fate of our entire planet. We'll dive into the core problem, the crazy chain reaction it causes, and the solutions that can actually give us a path forward. Let's get into it.
And really, it all starts with an image like this, doesn't it? Just look at this magnificent animal. Its survival, its very existence, is completely tied to the health of its home, a home that is disappearing at a terrifying rate. And this isn't just about one tiger, it's about the entire web of life that it represents.
So what's the single biggest threat? Well, you can boil it down to one word: deforestation. This is the heart of the problem we're going to unpack together today. Okay, so to really get a handle on what we're up against, we first have to understand what deforestation even is and, why it's happening in the first place.
The definition is actually pretty straightforward. At its core, deforestation is just the clearing of forests so that land can be used for something else. It's the direct and, often permanent removal of our planet's green spaces.
So why does it happen? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a mix. A lot of it is us, human activity. We clear land for farms, for cities, for factories. We cut down trees for furniture and for fuel. But on top of all that, nature itself can play a part, with things like massive forest fires and really severe droughts.
Now this is where things get really interesting, because cutting down trees isn't a single isolated act. It triggers a massive chain reaction, like a line of dominoes that stretches across the whole planet, knocking everything out of balance. Let's follow that chain reaction.
So the very first domino to fall, it's in our atmosphere. See, trees are basically the lungs of the planet. They breathe in carbon dioxide. So when we get rid of them, less CO2 gets absorbed and it just starts building up in the air all around us.
And what does all that extra CO2 do? Well, it acts like a heat-trapping blanket around the Earth. The direct result? Global temperatures start to rise. And that's what we all know as global warming.
This rising temperature doesn't just make it feel warmer, though. It throws the planet's super delicate water cycle totally out of whack. It disrupts weather patterns and affects everything from how much it rains to how our rivers flow.
And this leads to a really strange situation, a paradox. On one hand, this messed up water cycle can mean way less rain in some places, which causes serious droughts. But at the same time, without trees and healthy soil to soak up moisture, when the rain does fall, it can lead to catastrophic floods. It's a dual threat.
And without tree roots to hold everything together, that rich topsoil just erodes away. What's left is hard, rocky, and basically useless for growing anything. Over time, this process, it's called desertification, literally turns green land into desert.
So, it's a pretty grim picture, but this is where our story pivots. We're going to move from the problem to the solution and look at the critical steps being taken to protect what we still have. So, governments and organizations have set up three main kinds of protected areas. You have wildlife sanctuaries, which are all about protecting animals from being disturbed. Then there are national parks, which go a step further and reserve entire habitats for wildlife. And then you have the big one, biosphere reserves. These are the most complete, aiming to conserve wildlife, plants, and the traditional way of life for the people who live there.
Now let's zoom in a little bit and look at what exactly these safe havens are protecting. We're talking about the individual plants and animals, the living treasures that are most at risk of being lost forever.
Okay, first, a couple of simple but really important terms. When we talk about all the plants in an area, like this fern, we call that the flora. And when we're talking about the animals, like this cheetah, that's the fauna. Flora and fauna, together they make up the biodiversity of a place.
This brings us to a super important concept: endemic species. These are plants and animals that are found in one specific area and absolutely nowhere else on the entire planet. This uniqueness makes them incredibly special, but also incredibly vulnerable.
For instance, check out this incredible creature, the Indian giant squirrel. It's endemic to the Pachmari Biosphere Reserve. That means if that one specific habitat is destroyed, this species could vanish from the Earth forever.
And that brings us right to the term endangered. When a species' numbers drop so low that it's at risk of going extinct completely, we classify it as endangered. It's pretty much the final warning bell.
So how do we keep track of all this? Well, there's an official system. It's called the Red Data Book. Think of it like a global ledger that keeps a record of every known endangered plant and animal. It's an absolutely essential tool for conservationists all over the world.
We've seen the problem, the consequences, and the species at risk. For our final section, let's look forward. We are not just bystanders in this story. There are clear, real things we can do to reverse this damage and rewrite our future.
Look at this number, 17. What do you think that represents? It's the number of full-grown trees it takes to produce just 1 ton of paper. That's a staggering thought, and it connects our daily habits directly to the fate of our forests.
So if the problem is deforestation, it makes sense that the answer is its direct opposite, reforestation. The idea is simple but so powerful. It's restocking our destroyed forests by planting new trees. And it's really the only way we can hold on to our planet's green wealth.
And this is where every single one of us comes in. This isn't just a job for governments. There are 3 simple steps anybody can take. 1. Save paper. Knowing it takes 17 trees for 1 ton makes every sheet feel precious, right? 2. Reuse and recycle. Give that paper a 2nd, 3rd, or even 4th life. And 3. Plant new trees. It is the most direct way any of us can contribute.
So we end with this question. The problem is clear, the path forward is visible. We have the tools, we have the knowledge. The only thing left is a question of will, and it's a question for all of us. How will we protect our planet's green wealth for the generations to come?